RCB finally winning the trophy to the stock market going down, 2025 felt loud and chaotic. But while we were busy celebrating, scrolling, and debating, something else was quietly shaping the year beneath it all. Often not in newspaper headlines or social media reels, but in floods that wouldn't stop, prices that kept rising, and some new milestones reached. I'm Lavanya, and in this episode of the Climate Brief, we will cover the climate headlines that shaped India in 2025. In January, the year began with a disturbing sight along India's eastern coast. More than 1,100 olive ridley turtles washed up dead. This happened during nesting season, exactly the time these endangered turtles need the highest amount of protection. Every year, olive ridleys arrive near Tamil Nadu's coast to breed, and they've been doing this for centuries. One likely cause behind the deaths was the use of large trawler nets, wide nets that trap turtles underwater, preventing them from surfacing for air and eventually leading to their death. Tamil Nadu has banned trawlers within 9 kilometers of the shore, but the law is rarely enforced. Trawler nets are also supposed to have turtle excluder devices, but activists say most boats don't use them at all. The ecological significance of the turtles cannot be overstated. They play a critical role in marine ecosystems. They help maintain oxygen balance on the seabed by feeding on invertebrates on the seafloor. When they disappear, the ocean quietly loses stability. That's how 2025 began. By February, climate change showed up somewhere much closer to home. In Bengaluru, filter coffee got more expensive. Not because the tindis suddenly became fancy, because coffee farms started failing. Globally, coffee prices have almost doubled in just 2 years. Why? Record heat and drought, erratic rainfall in Brazil and Vietnam, both major coffee growing and exporting destinations. Climate change doesn't always arrive as a disaster. Sometimes it shows up in your morning mug. India's food inflation climbed close to 9% in 2024 to 2025. Heat waves and rainfall chaos played a major role in this. The climate crisis has officially entered middle-class budgets. And just when it felt like everything was going wrong, one story went the other way. In 2025, an Indian woman, Purnima Devi Burman, made Time's Women of the Year list. Her life's work wasn't flashy, it was stubborn. For decades, she fought to protect a bird that most people had written off, the greater adjutant stork, or the Hargila. Instead of waiting for policy, she built people power. A group of 20,000 women joined her Hargila army in protecting nests and changing mindsets. Today, the bird is no longer endangered. Not because of a miracle, but because someone refused to give up. This is proof that local action can spark global change. Snow arrived late in the Himalayas, then went out of control. Jammu and Kashmir went through an almost snowless Chillai Kalan, the 40-day harshest cold spell between December 21st and January 31st. Then, suddenly received massive rainfall with a single day on February 27th. Rivers overflowed, highways shut down. Uttarakhand saw the same pattern. A long, dry winter, then sudden downpour that caused floods. Snowfall is shifting to February and March, and that is dangerous. Snow falling on warmer ground doesn't hold. Avalanches become easier, and glaciers lose their chance to grow. While mountains struggled, cities fought a different battle. In Hyderabad, a forest almost disappeared overnight. 400 acres in Kancha Gachibowli was set to be sold for building an IT park. Kancha Gachibowli was a forest in the middle of the city, a vital lung for the city, a home to hundreds of species, a check against the urban heat island effect, a sponge to absorb rainwater, and it was being cut down. Students protested, environmentalists mobilized. Eventually, the High Court and later the Supreme Court intervened, ordering the work to stop and calling for restoration and protection of the forest cover. A small win. And in 2025, small wins matter. Around the same time, Ahmedabad tried something refreshingly practical. Instead of just heat advisories, it offered heat insurance of up to 1,250 rupees for informal women workers. If temperatures crossed a threshold, payouts triggered automatically. No need to file a claim, no waiting period. The payout gets automatically transferred to their bank account. A small premium of 354 rupees per year protected daily wages on days when it was too hot to work. This is what climate adaptation actually looks like. Then came the monsoon, and it went from being a romantic backdrop to a scary soundtrack that refused to stop. Floods hit across the country. In Uttarakhand, Tharali saw heavy rainfall and flash floods on August 5th, washing away roads and cutting off villages overnight. In Jammu and Kashmir, a cloudburst in Kishtwar on August 14th triggered flash floods along the Machail Mata Yatra route. Himachal Pradesh faced repeated disasters, recording 45 cloudbursts, 122 landslides, and 95 flash floods this season. In Gurgaon, intense rain on September 1st turned roads into rivers, stranding people for hours. In Punjab, floods affected every district, killing over 30 people, impacting 3 lakhs, and submerging 148,000 hectares of farmland. Manipur saw the Eral and Taubal rivers breach embankments. Kolkata recorded 10 deaths and 30 injuries on September 23rd. And in Marathwada, the heaviest rain in 50 years caused severe flooding and damage. Different states, same pattern. Extreme rainfall is becoming normal. Unplanned urbanization is only making it worse. In May, the Supreme Court made a strong call. No ex facto or retrospective environmental clearances. Approvals granted after a project began without prior environmental clearance were illegal and unconstitutional. Then in November, that decision was reversed. Post facto clearances were allowed again, a legal shift with long-term consequences. The debate isn't over, but the signal was clear. Still, 2025 didn't end without progress. India crossed a quiet milestone. More than half its installed power capacity, that is 256.09 gigawatts of a total of 500 gigawatts, now comes from non-fossil sources. Of this, solar power was at 127.33 gigawatts, wind power was at 53.12 gigawatts, and on one day in July, renewables powered over half the country. That day, renewables met 51.5% of the country's total electricity demand of 203 gigawatts. No celebrations, no breaking news, just change happening quietly in the background. And yet, one problem refused to leave. Air pollution returned again. Delhi crossed AQI 500 multiple times this year, but it wasn't alone. Mumbai, Bengaluru, and cities considered safer began choking too. Protests followed, debates restarted. The crisis stayed. That was 2025. Many worrying signs, but not hopeless either. Some warnings, some lessons, some proof that change is possible. I'm Lavanya, and this is the Climate Brief. Thank you for a year of support, for caring about stories that need to be told. Here's to 2026 and to stories that matter. Happy New Year!